Greetings, nerds. This is Being a Nerd. I'm your host, Sarah Belmont, and with me as always is our Mr. Producer, Will Polk. How are you doing tonight, Will?
Doing better now that technology's working.
And then KJ, of course, is laughing. KJ, who's from KindaNerdyGirls Podcast and Pet Pals TV. What the heck is Pet Pals TV?
Sarah, I am the kitty correspondent for Pet Pals TV, which is on in 27 markets across the country. You can find us at petpalstv.com. I just did a story today about a kitty cat who's now living at a nursing home, making the people who live there happy. So it's literally what it sounds like. We talk about pet stories all day, every day.
That's awesome. See, I was joking with Sarah last week. We had recapped the episode of DC Titans and Crypto, Superboy's dog was on there, and I was like, you need to go out and get yourself a pet, Sarah.
Sarah, you don't have any pets in your life?
I don't have any pets in my life.
What's wrong with you? Or do you hate yourself?
No, it's called self-awareness. I don't trust myself with living, breathing things.
Okay.
This just got awkward.
Start with the fish. I mean,
honestly, we had fish growing up. They didn't do much for me.
Okay. Well, I mean, a cat is pretty self-sufficient. If you are capable of leaving some food and water and litter out, they will handle the rest.
So, true story. I was living in Germany at one point in time, and the place where I was staying, the owners had a cat or two cats, and I was in the upstairs. And one night I come out because they're I think on vacation, and the cat shit all over the place. And it was like this cat ate the other cat and just shat him out. And I had to clean it up.
Yeah.
And therefore I don't think that they are all manageable as you claim that they are.
And we get to the roots of why Sarah does not have pets.
I'm an auntie to two corgis, and that's as far as I'll go.
That is okay. I will tell you that the reason that I have cats and not dogs, because I really love dogs, is that I was in training to have a dog by taking care of my sister's dog. And his name is Thor. And he is not the god of thunder, but he is the god of taking human-sized crabs at least 3 times every time I take him out. And I was like, this is disgusting. And I have to pick this up with just a thin layer of plastic between me and a steaming pile of shit. And I cannot do this.
Yeah. For a moment there, I thought you said his name was Store. Oh. And then I completely got sidetracked in my own mind about, like, why would a person name a dog or a cat Store?
Yeah, well, it sounds like he was storing a lot of shit there. So
he can really store it up, and he saves it for his Auntie KJ every time that I have to let him out. I swear.
and that's us for Pet Pals TV tonight. That's all we're going to talk about.
They're going to be like, never tell anyone that you work for Pet Pals TV ever again.
Well,
I do have to apologize because I always sound hoarse. People are like, are you sick? No, this is what I sound like. But it's worse because I completely lost my voice at Ace Comic Con, and we are 4 days out, and I still haven't fully recovered it. So if I sounded like I was saying Store instead of Thor, it's possible that that's how it came out.
How was the Comic-Con? I saw you guys y'all just dropped a bunch of photos of like everyone.
Yeah, I could talk for days about this. I have to say, so I work with a company called Celeb Photo Ops, and we go to a lot of different cons. I might get in trouble for saying this because of that, but Ace Comic Con has become my favorite con. If you have a chance to go to Ace, and right now they're only doing maybe, I want to say 3 to 4 a year, but they are so wonderfully fan based.
Hmm.
It is the most, it is the best fan experience that you can have going to any kind of convention. It's amazing. And this one that we worked over the weekend, Ace Comic Con Midwest it's the biggest Comic Con that I've ever worked. And it was hard to believe that I was in the same room with Brie Larson and Tom Holland and Chris Hemsworth and Jake Gyllenhaal and the Sabrina cast. And I mean, it was insane. It was truly like one of the most amazing weekends of my life.
I like how it went from name drop, name drop, name drop to old TV show cast. Like not the stars, cast.
Well, it was the chilling adventures of Sabrina, not like Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So it was the new cast from Netflix, which you guys should really watch that show.
I have.
Yeah, it's fantastic, right? It's
Yeah.
you didn't like it?
No, I'm just there's a lot of TV these days, okay? There's a lot, and I skip a lot of TV. So I fast forward through a lot of that show. I liked bits and pieces. But yeah, I don't remember the names of the cast either.
That's okay. That's okay. It was so Sabrina and Harvey were the two that were there. Now, I will tell you, I was not like they were on the opposite end of the area where I was working. So I didn't really get to interact with them very much, which I was kind of bummed about because I did bring my little stuffed Salem cat and I was hoping to get a picture.
Of course.
Yeah.
It all ties back to the cats.
It does. Oh my God.
But I did get a picture with Brie Larson and my little stuffed Goose the cat. So
that's awesome.
I brought 2 cats. I was 50% with my cat pictures this weekend.
I completely forgot about Goose the cat from that movie until this moment.
Sarah, come on.
I know.
You got nothing going on. You need to get a hamster or something. You need to connect to an animal, Sarah.
I know. I have too many other things going on in my life these days. I don't know.
So how did you get involved with Ace Comic Con, and is this like it's the Midwest thing, or are they around other cities as well?
No, Ace is in they're starting to cover the country. So there's Ace Midwest. There is they did an Ace in Seattle, which would be great. That's the second time they've done it. So I think Seattle is probably going to be one of their go-to cities. So that would be maybe possibly a place where Sarah, I could, meet you in person sometime. Because it's not that hard to get to Seattle. Don't act like it's so hard to get to Seattle, because it's not. It's probably harder for me in Indianapolis to get to Seattle than it would be for you. Yeah. They do Ace Phoenix. We did Ace Long Island. So they've only been around for about 3 years, but the people behind it have a lot of Comic-Con experience behind them. So they have a lot of connections, which is why they're getting a lot of the A-listers. They have a very good reputation, not just for being good to their fans, but also being good to the celebrities that they bring in. So cool. I can't promise you that there's an Ace Comic-Con Alaska coming anytime soon.
There is.
But I'll put in the good word for you, Sarah.
No, Ace is also where I'm seeing more of the Marvel cast appear in terms of convention. I mean, I feel like all of the major interviews leading up to Endgame and after Infinity War all came out of Ace conventions. I mean, some classic Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie happening. I don't know, banter there. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm down with Ace.
And one of the things that's really great if you go, if you've been to other cons and you have a photo op or an autograph or there's something going on at the same time as a panel and you have to make that decision, like, do I go to the panel? Mm-hmm. Do I go do this? Ace has TVs set up everywhere. Huh. So you can stand in line for an autograph or photograph or shop, and you can still, you get like a full interactive experience no matter where you're at.
That's great. Yeah. Cause I've been to a SuperCon, and that was not the case. And you did have to like make that hard call. It's like, okay, do I go, try to get that, like, as you said, the autograph, or do I go see this panel about, XYZ actor or actress there talking about their latest project? So that's good. That's a good deal. That's a very good deal.
Yeah, it's really cool, and they're pretty good about getting their panels up online pretty quickly. Like, I know I just saw a couple hours ago, they posted the Kit Harington panel, which was great because I was really busy during that time, so I didn't really get to see much of his panel. And I believe the Brie Larson and Tessa Thompson panel is out, which is great. They were fantastic, and it was pretty clear that they don't either. I mean, they're really good actresses, right? So maybe they're just acting, but okay, well, maybe not. We can talk about that in a second. But I got the feeling that they legitimately don't have any idea where their characters are going. Like, they haven't given that direction.
That was really bad setup, KJ. Like, the way you were saying that, I was just waiting for that they really don't like each other.
No, they were lovely. As a matter of fact, I was like, Brie Larson, both of them were very extremely sweet. But Brie Larson, I think, just getting like, you think the vibe of the character of Captain Marvel, and Brie Larson was like so bubbly and uplifting and like, you go girl, and like every little girl that came in dressed as Captain Marvel, she's like, you're a hero even without that suit. And she was just like so incredibly happy and like just, I mean, really, really different from the Captain Marvel character. I was like, I just want to like take you home. I love you so much. But and Tessa Thompson was the same way. So if you have a chance, like if you just Google Brie Larson, Tessa Thompson, Ace Comic Con, their panel will come up, and they were just a joy. It's definitely worth watching.
Cool. So was the man himself, Kevin Feige, there, or was he too busy like empire building?
Yeah, I have not ever seen him at a con. I think I would really love that, but I don't know. Like, that's getting pretty nerdy. To be like, who wants a picture with Kevin Feige? I mean, I would, but
actually, I think these days he is more known than even some of the cast. I mean, we think it's nerdy, but honestly, reports about everything the MCU has done all ties back to Feige and is mentioned constantly. So, and plus San Diego Comic-Con, I mean, he's there presenting and making all these announcements. So everyone, a lot of people know who he is, and I wouldn't be surprised if he had his own panel at some of these conventions. Granted, people behind the scenes don't like to be in front of the camera or known, so he probably has had offers and just said, no, that's not really my deal.
Yeah, I would imagine, especially with his schedule, that he probably is just gonna stick to the ones like San Diego Comic-Con and D23 and stuff like that, where they are you expect going to those that they are
Mm-hmm.
going to be making those major announcements. A Comic-Con like Ace Midwest is more of a fan festival. We're all watching the panels and hoping that they say something that we can all then interpret and analyze and be like, oh, it must mean this. But they don't. The production houses and the studios generally only go to like 3 or 4 big cons a year to make announcements, as opposed to the rest of the cons that we're going to that are just, really a celebration of the fandom.
So I have a question. Because if I recall, KJ, the last time you were here, we talked a little bit about one of your favorite shows ever, Supernatural.
Yeah.
How are you holding up knowing that this is the last season?
I would say, okay, if you had asked me this a week ago, I was not doing well. I think that I was not doing well at all. I was like, we're just going to pretend like that's not happening. We're just going to ignore that. It's not the last season.
Denial. Okay.
Denial. Yeah, it sounds like Sarah and her like love-hate relationship with
Shut
Arrow.
up, Will. Shut up.
No, it's the same thing. Like there's all these things that are, going away. That Arrow and
Earth 2.
Yeah. Oh God,
Yep.
Earth. There's Earth 2
All
can't
right.
be on. Okay.
It's gone.
It can't. No, I'm not accepting that.
Why not? They're dead.
Nope, not accepting it. Things can be changed. We have time travel and all kinds of cool stuff. Like no, I'm not accepting it.
Yeah, you have to accept it. I don't think
Okay,
Barry.
so here's an idea.
Yeah.
What if, because we all know at the end of last season on Arrow, Felicity was allowed to go and meet up with Oliver, and we don't know where. What if that was Earth 2 and they managed to also save Earth 2?
I thought you were like, and now she's dead too. Like, oh my God. That would be cool. Like, anything can happen. And I don't know, you guys. I feel like these shows kind of have to start coming to an end because everything is so ridiculous and messed up now that.
Well, that's what Crisis is for, to clean up the timeline. That was the whole premise behind the comic book.
I know, but then you go like. You think about where Oliver was in the beginning, and now he's like out, chasing bits of stars through the multiverse for a god. Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
that was my one thing. That was one of my. I really enjoyed the premiere this week. I thought it was, given that I did not know how they were going to wrap things up, and they said it was going to be a love letter to the fans, and of course there are plenty of callbacks, from the very first moment of the show. But the collecting the dwarf star things, I felt a couple things. One, I was feeling a little bit of it, the Infinity Saga there as far as the collector, and then the other thing is, why can't the Monitor do this for himself? Why does he need Oliver to do it?
Lazy outsourcing.
Yeah.
You expect us to answer that question?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention during the episode.
Of course not.
I thought you meant you weren't paying attention to Will just now.
She never does.
I usually turn him off every now and then. I'm just like,
yeah. She can't fast forward me like she does the show. So
it's just, I am so tired of them using the word crisis in these shows. I just need that. That's my trigger word. I've had enough of it. I'm over it. Come up with some synonyms, people. Okay. It's just, and I don't know. This episode, it just was too. I felt like Stephen Amell kept looking at the camera and winking, and winking, and winking, and there was no surprise. Adrian Chase is the Green Arrow on Earth 2. Okay, and that was already released months ago. Tommy Merlin is Dark Archer. Yeah, makes sense. Saw it coming. Okay, it's just it didn't feel. The one thing though that I thought was clever, did not see coming, actually worked for the benefit of the episode was Dig coming over to Earth 2 as well.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
like that part.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. Also, if we can be done killing Tommy, because I really do. I mean, I just if we could just like stop bringing Tommy back, and then it's like, oh, Tommy's dead again. That would be great.
Yeah, well, if this, given that all the multiple Earths are being destroyed by the anti-monitors, hopefully this will be the last one.
I mean, like, I'm not going to keep watching it if every episode they just destroy another Earth. But oh, there's Tommy. Oh, now he's dead again.
Yeah,
There has never been a death in a series, any TV show that I've ever watched that I have really held a grudge against. I get really, really angry when I think about. I understand from the storyline. I understand why they did it, but I just really, really like that character, and felt like he was in a place where he could have gone places. And I, like I said, I understand everything, but I'm irrationally mad still that they killed Tommy. And then like he came back, and even though he was from a different Earth, they killed him again. And there he is on Earth 2. And then let's wipe out Earth 2. I'm like, okay, I'm done. Let's just leave Tommy out of this.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just tired of them. I was so looking forward to Adrian Chase, and he was barely in this episode.
Barely, yeah.
That's the crime, okay? And he also had a very weird voice, and I don't know what was going on. And Josh Segarra has an amazing voice, okay? So I was hurt. But I had a thought while watching the episode because all of the nods were there to not only the first episode, but also the first season. Mm-hmm. And so we have now, really episode 8 is when the crisis is going to start happening. So considering this is season 7, I wonder if like episode 2 this season is going to mirror critical moments of season 2. And episode 3, critical moments of season 3, building up to really show, like you were just saying, Will, this is a love letter to the fans. Well, we've watched Oliver Queen go from the boy who was shipwrecked on Lian Yu to the man he is now. And so you get like a weird summary of that character arc.
Yeah. I think that's probably the way that they seem to be.
They're not going to do it.
I think they will.
I think theory, Will. You know they never listen to me.
I think this time they will actually listen to you, because I think the way they have been promoting this season has been like, we are going to spend time, not only sort of an epilogue, because as we've talked about before, Sarah, in many ways this series ended last season, and you can even argue ended in season 6. Mm-hmm. I think each of these episodes are going to be, here's a epilogue to Oliver's story, and of course use the flash forwards to set up the backdoor pilot to the Canary show. Given especially now that we saw Black Siren from Earth 2 was the sole survivor of the crisis. Sorry.
Go figure.
Yeah, sorry, didn't mean to say crisis again, but I would say Snap, but that's been taken. Blink, well, actually Snap has not been taken because they said the Blink, so we can use Snap.
Oh, so, that's right.
You didn't say the Blink.
In game, the blip, whatever. What was it?
It was a blip.
The blip.
Yeah, the blip. So we can say the Snap and back in the DC world. Yeah.
Be careful not to blink, you'll miss it. The blink.
Yeah. It's been a while since I watched the game, but you get my point.
It wasn't in Endgame. It was Far From Home.
It was Far From Home.
Yeah. I know.
He's not listening to who, my friend?
Yeah. I'm tired. Okay, it's been a long week, but but you get my point. As far as my bigger point is that I think they will do these things in the episodes and leading to the actual crossover.
coolest Easter egg in the episode though was Batman's mask on Lian Yu, and then that version of Arrow referencing something that Bruce Wayne taught him. So apparently on that Earth, Bruce Wayne served in the same capacity as Slade Wilson served for Oliver on Oliver's Earth. I really like that tie-in. Which, speaking of Batman, KJ, what are your thoughts on the casting news for the Batman? I mean, we got Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman and now Paul Dano as the Riddler.
Yeah, I really love both of those. As far as casting is concerned, I don't know. I think there's just some Batman fatigue. We've had a lot of Batman drama, and I don't know that I'm ready. I'm not in a place where I'm ready for Batman. I think I'm ready for a kick-ass Catwoman.
Mm-hmm.
But unpopular opinion, I did not mind Ben Affleck as Batman. I thought for what they wanted Batman to be, that he did that, and the story around it kind of sucked. But he was the Batman we needed. But I didn't think that Ben Affleck was a bad Batman, and I would have been okay seeing him in another movie. And so I'm not in the mindset of Robert Pattinson as the Batman.
That's not funny. That's not funny. No.
Right? It's not right. And I'm not there yet. I'm like, wait, no, that's not real. I had a dream where they said that Robert Pattinson was going to be Batman, and that's not really happening.
I had that same dream, only it was like a real good dream and not a nightmare that it was for you, apparently.
No, I don't have anything against him. I'm a Harry Potter fan. I loved him as Cedric. I don't hate on the Twilight movies. I mean, I'm not like watching them over and over, but I read the books and I knew what they were about and saw the movies, and I was like, all right, that's fine. I wasn't mad about it. But I'm just not like, it's weird to go from where Batman was as Ben Affleck and think about how Batman's going to be portrayed by Robert Pattinson. So I don't know. I'm not there yet, but I was excited to hear Zoe. Like, we need a really great Catwoman. I thought Anne Hathaway did a good job as Catwoman, but they wasted the character.
Right.
In the Dark Knight Returns, it was like, what is she even doing here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if that's what you were going to do, then don't even have her in the movie. So I'm ready for a really great Catwoman.
Yeah, I felt that way about most of the characters in Dark Knight Rises. If that's what you're doing with them, why are they even here? What is this movie?
Bane. I don't even want to talk about Bane.
Yeah.
Bad. It was, and I don't think that that's an unpopular opinion to have about Ben Affleck. I think a lot of people would agree.
Yeah, I agree with
he did what he could, and he was just in bad movies, or he was unfortunately, it was bad writing and bad directing. So I don't think we're all blaming him, and he chose to get out while he could. I think hopefully for fans who are still on the fence, maybe by the time this new Batman rolls out, which isn't going to be even until 2022, 2021.
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a few years left to go for all of this fatigue. But Paul Dano I did not hear that name on any of the lists or the short list or anything. It was all about Jonah Hill. And then I saw the news and I was like, okay, I accept that. That makes sense.
Yeah, I was the same way. It was surprising, but I think he'll do a good job in that role.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm a little disappointed Nicholas Hoult didn't get it, just because somebody mentioned when his name was out there for Batman that he would be a good Riddler, and I kind of latched on to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's just too good looking for the Riddler in a way.
Yeah.
This got awkward.
No.
I'm just thinking about how good looking he is. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I thought. just thinking back to the earlier part of the conversation, man, I agree. I did like Ben Affleck as the Batman, but I think given that they are, I guess, sort of going back to, hopefully they don't do another origin story. We've done that so many times.
Oh, gosh.
So I'm hopeful that it'll. I think I've read somewhere where it may be like Batman year 1 or 2 when he's still relatively early in his career, so we don't have to get the rehash of all that. So it'll be a little bit after Batman Begins, but not not the seasoned Batman that we see as far as Ben Affleck. But I mean, as far as Zoe Kravitz, I mean, I was very excited to hear that news this week as far as her casting. I think it's just spot on as far as new energy and new Catwoman. And I'm not as familiar with Paul Dano's work, but from everything I've read about him, it definitely sounds like he'll be a great Riddler.
You haven't seen Little Miss Sunshine?
I did a long time ago. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just trying to, like, I own that movie.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's colorblind.
Okay.
And it's really sad that he's colorblind.
Really sad.
Just that one scene. That one scene kills me every time. Yeah. But don't or you could see Prisoners, but that's a different version. I don't know. Anyways.
Sunshine.
Yeah. Little Miss Sunshine. Speaking of Ben Affleck or all of the moodiness, I felt like The Flash this week. Oh my God, so much moodiness. I felt as if The Flash took place in Star City, and Barry and Oliver had switched places again. I was waiting for the got you. They swapped lives again.
Huh.
Because Barry Allen was so moody in this episode, and I get it. He has a prophecy that he's gonna die, and he's trying to save everyone. He's trying to be a hero, and it's really, really hard. But he just, at one point, he's sitting on the couch and he has like a blanket around him, and he's got like tears in his eyes. And I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm not a pet person, but I just had no empathy.
You have no heart. See, I didn't find him moody at all. This was actually, for me, the Grant was actually given some good stuff to work with as far as when really coming to grips with the fact that he is going to have to make the sacrifice to possibly save the universe. And so, I mean, to me, it was a very real exploration as far as him working through that and talking to Iris about it, and also his moments with Joe, which I've missed whenever Joe and Barry having those talks as far as being his cheerleader and helping him realize, like, it is about the shield as far as in Joe's case, and standing up and being that that call of duty to that part of being a hero or police officer or whatever it is, comes with the territory. So I didn't find it off-putting or emo Barry at all.
Emo Barry.
We've seen emo Barry, and we haven't. That's not emo Barry.
Yeah.
Well, Iris is still alive. It can't be emo Barry. I don't know. It's just even Joe felt as if he was replaced by the Earth 2 version in some points, especially the first half. The first half when him and Cecilia were going back and forth about Allegra and her innocence. Joe was like real harsh, and just dismissed right away. Cecile, yeah. Okay. I'm just like, it's not, there's something missing here. This is how much I pay attention to these shows.
Just move
I am
on, y'all.
such a fan. I am such a fan.
Yes, the Flash, I can't. It lost me 2 seasons ago. I can't because I don't, Sarah, like you, I don't pay attention to a lot of things. I just have no idea what's happening. They've been to so many different places. It's just so they screwed up the timeline so much. I'm like, Barry, can you just stop with screwing up the timeline? I don't understand where we are. I don't know which Harrison this is. I don't.
There isn't even a Harrison right now.
Yeah, not yet. But
and I like how we're saying Harrison and not Wells.
Yeah. But it's better to say Harrison because it's there's so many different Wells. There's like last season there was Sherlock Wells and there was Ben. Of course, there's only one Harry, but that was from season 2. And of course, Harry now is dead since Earth 2 was destroyed. So we won't see that. We won't see that Wells again.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, KJ.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
You don't.
We do not. Watch your mouth.
Okay, so you think he got off? So you think he managed to get off Earth 2 before the Anti-Monitor destroyed it?
To go back to KJ's point about why she doesn't watch the show anymore, we've all seen the Flash pull out a lot of magic tricks over the years because they have all of this time travel and all of these special powers. So do I think that there's probably a chance that Harry just so happened to be on another Earth when Earth 2 disappeared? Hell yes.
Yeah.
Especially, and I was thinking about this, this is why you actually bought into the episode and I didn't, because in the back of my mind, I know Barry's not going to die in Crisis. I know it. I know it's going to be Oliver, even though he's kind of going to be alive afterwards too. More on that later. But I also know that the Flash is going to get another season. They're not expected to end. And plus they have this like weird scientist guy making all of these creatures and all of these experiments that they're going to have to wrap up in the season of this season, part B. So why should I feel worried about Barry?
Yeah, well, it's good because it's his destiny. I mean, if it is going to be Earth 1 Barry, it could easily. I mean, a lot of theories have been popping around out there that it could possibly be Earth 90 Barry, which is John Wesley Shipp's version from the season from the early 90s, but. I mean, I get what you. I mean, this moment has been telegraphed since season 1, and I mean, from the pilot, we've known that this is going to happen. And yes, you're right. I mean, we know Barry in some form or fashion will come back. Not 25 years now. They'll just like they fast forwarded the Crisis. They'll figure out the way to fast forward his return. And actually, even from an earlier crossover, we knew Barry came back from the event because he left that recording in I think it was the second or third crossover event where they had the Dementors. He left. Yeah. Whatever they were, the Dominators.
Harry Potter?
Yeah, the Dominators. I'm having all kinds of issues tonight. I know. The aliens, invaders, and where they had the first crossover.
If they do a Flash Harry Potter crossover, I am back in.
Oh, they already did.
Yeah,
Draco was on the show for a little while. Tom
Yeah.
KJ, I feel like what just happened is we watched if Will was a pet lover, especially with cats, his cat ran outside and I just ran right over it. And he was trying to figure out a way to solve the problem. And that's what we just witnessed and listened to. And I am very sorry for killing your cat. That was named the Flash.
Well, fair enough.
But don't worry.
Don't worry because the cat's going to come back. I'm not worried because I know my cat's going to be okay.
Don't worry, he's going to cat heaven.
He was not on Earth 2. He was on Earth 3.
That's where Harry. Well, you're to your earlier point. That's where you're right. Harry will show up on Earth 3 with Jesse.
It just they are known to do this kind of BS, especially with that character. So I don't even, that never came to my mind, and I think that they're going to be perfectly fine. I mean, anyways, I don't know how to get out of this segment.
Well, hey, I think, I don't think that the writers know how to get out of the Flash. Like, I think that they are all like, that's why Arrow is coming to an end, because it goes and it goes and it goes. And then, like you said, as a viewer, you're starting to go, well, I don't even believe that, because I know there's another season. I don't believe that because that never actually happens. And so it stops being as interesting because you've seen them escape so many times and figure out ways out of it and little tricks around it. And, so it does lose some of the magic that it had in the beginning, because you are used to, it's just like, going back to Supernatural, I have watched Sam and Dean die so many times and I'm like, what can they actually end this with? That I'm going to believe? Because I'm not going to believe they're dead, because they're never dead, So
Right.
I think that is and that is a problem that every show that goes on for a long time runs into. But I think, especially in these comic book worlds where we're talking about time travel and different Earths and things like that, you do, as a fan, start to go, well, there's nothing at stake, because they can find a loophole through anything.
Right. I mean, granted, Arrow's really coming to an end because Stephen Amell didn't want to do the show anymore.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and to his credit, I mean, to KJ's point about Supernatural, going on for a very long time and running out of ideas, it's sometimes good to know when to leave the stage.
Right. And I think that, I mean, it's funny how I don't really watch the show. I'm sorry, KJ. But I do watch a lot of their cons and the panels at their cons, because Jared and Jensen are hilarious, especially when Misha is around. Oh my God. And the stories they tell, I want to be on that set for a day. That is amazing what they're able to get away with. So I think it was important for them to leave while the show was still being watched, as opposed to being told nobody cares anymore.
Yes.
So,
yeah, I agree. I think Supernatural is in a place. I mean, they've had even the most hardcore fan will admit that there have been some seasons where it's like they weren't completely on it.
Right.
But for the most part, for a show that has been on that long, they have found ways to reinvent themselves. But, I mean, you're talking about 15 seasons, and last season was probably one of the best in recent times. Like, they really brought some life back into the show, and the storyline was fresh. And so I think doing what they're doing, and kind of similar to what Arrow is doing, is that this is going to be, there's a lot of reminiscing. In the first episode of Supernatural, I calmed down a little bit about it being the first episode of the last season, because they made it very comfortable. It was, they brought back some, the premise is basically everyone that they sent to hell, well, hell just opened up, so they're all back. So all bets are off. So there were, demons and stuff that from the first season that were showing themselves, but in a way that it wasn't overtaking the entire episode. Like, it was sort of a nice little callback for people to season one, but not in a way that was like just reminiscing. It had a purpose. So I think it's going to be fun to kind of watch them do that. And I think, it's kind of similar to what Arrow's doing, in that, look, the fact that the fans have allowed us to be around for this long, let's give them a really awesome final season. Let's all kind of say goodbye to all of this story that we've loved so much together.
Yeah, I don't watch Supernatural, so it's...
That's okay.
Yeah, so
that's why I was trying to kind of compare it to Arrow. And
but I mean,
I don't know if you guys watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer did a kind of a similar thing in their final season. It was that there were a lot of callbacks to things throughout the years that
I mean,
really,
I don't watch Buffy, but another show that is ending this year that I could see some of that is, and it's not Mr. Robot, Sarah. It's actually The Good Place, where where they again knowing when to leave the stage, because I mean this season's been they've constantly rebooted themselves and taken that gimmick so many different ways that they can. And so now with this fourth season actually, they're in a third. I haven't watched the episode tonight, but at least the first two is a lot of callbacks to the beginning and some of the things about. They basically have a new four that they're trying to make better, like from the very very first season. And so it is one of those things where, all right, yeah, it's still funny, it still has some good moments and stuff, but at the same time you're like, yeah, this is definitely one of those things where, yeah, you all are making the right decision to finish the show now while it still has that level of freshness and creativity, instead of just letting it linger on and just die a horrible death.
That got violent real quickly. Like, you went straight to die a horrible death.
Yes,
like, not fade away into oblivion, but just die a horrible, bloody mess in the Joker movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. God, that escalated quickly. Let's talk about cats and poop again, okay? I think we were on target for our audience. It went all downhill. I think that is it for us tonight. KJ, it was amazing having you on. Thank you so much, because we clearly needed the help tonight. We probably could not have done this without you.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I don't know how much help I was, but I did my best.
Your best. Why don't you tell our fans or our listeners where they can find you?
Yes. So we are the Kinda Nerdy Girls. You can find us at KindaNerdyGirls.com. We're on, aren't you guys, we're all in all the podcast places now, right? We're on YouTube, we're on Stitcher, or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Pretty much if you have a podcast app, you're going to find us if you type in Kinda Nerdy Girls. And then we're really active on Twitter and Instagram as well, just like you guys. So it's at Kinda Nerdy Girls.
All right. And Will, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me and tell me to get my stuff together at Will M. Polk. That's WILLMPOLK.
Yeah, they're just going to tell you to get your beauty rest.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can find me at SJ Belmont, SJBELMONT. Please follow our crew on Twitter at SNN Nerd. Friend us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. But most importantly, rate, subscribe, and comment on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Spotify. Good night, Geek Out. You're welcome.